and we are live. Good afternoon from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam, and good morning from,
North Carolina.
oh yes, from the other side. And Vinu is back, and I'm very happy because this topic today is very, 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 very close to my heart and to her heart as well. Conscious parenting. And those of you that do not know Vinu yet, she's called by her clients the kids and family whisperer. And she's a special person, and I'm sure she will offer you perspectives that will help you raise the bar in how you approach parenting. And for almost 25 years, Vinu has worked with children, with teens and adults to inspire them to believe in themselves and know their own greatness. And she's a behavioral specialist, a life coach. She has a turnaround program, a 4-day in-home turnaround, which is very successful. And she's also a writer, educator of kids in schools, many, many, many talents. And here's the thing, too many moms feel overwhelmed and unseen in their home lives. And Vino has created a 3-step process to help busy mothers get in control and feel seen again. Because when mothers feel in control and seen, families thrive, children succeed, and marriages deepen. So welcome, Vino. I'm very excited.
I am so excited to be here again. I really enjoy this. I think right now we're in a space in our lives with so much change. And so that's why I was glad that we got to come back, right? Because I feel like in the beginning of our talks, we were just going into COVID and what it was looking like for parents to now like be out of the home, now in the home, and realizing like, wow, these are really my children, right? Because like we're so, I mean, even myself, right? Like we send our kids to school, we do us. There's no complaints at school. So we take that as a win. We come home and then we have our family time. And now it was like, oh, my kids do act like that. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh, my
Yeah.
husband does act like that because
Yes.
everybody was home. And now
Yeah.
we're transitioning back, right?
Right.
And now kids are feeling a lot of
Yes.
anxiety.
Right. So first of all, Rich Waterman, so good to have you here. Yes, I do have cool guests because that's why I have only cool guests to reach, because I have guests that I respect very much professionally and I like as human beings. Only these people will come on this show, because the idea is we made it to episode 56, and it's aiming to help people throughout our discussions to get insights and be inspired to thrive emotionally, physically, mentally in their homes, in their families, businesses, and spiritually. So yes, I do have cool guests. But Vino, you know our thing.
Yeah.
Before we dive into this, let's enter. But don't close your eyes, because we're gonna do it differently.
Oh,
Yes, because we are talking about mothers, we are talking about being seen. And I would like to uh, connect, because this is our centering moment to prepare for this sacred conversation. But we're going to do it by just looking into each other's eyes and breathing together and seeing each other and seeing the gifts. And this is how we're going to center, because women need to be seen.
we do.
Yeah. I see you, Vino.
See you.
So feel free, whoever is watching, feel free to do this at home with your children, with your husband or your wife or your partner. Feel free to stop and see each other for a few seconds.
Mhm.
So, Vino, it's about conscious parenting. What's your view on conscious parenting, and what's your own definition of conscious parenting?
So it's interesting. In the recent months, I actually just wrote an article on taking off the labels, right? I feel like we have so many labels already on ourselves, and which create this standard. And if we don't reach that standard, then we're not enough. And I was invited to write an article for a magazine, and all of a sudden this just flowed to me, and I'm like, we're so busy trying to be the conscious parent or the mindful parent, or am I a helicopter parent, and we're trying to reach all these standards that, like, what does it even look like, and if I'm not, does that mean I'm a bad parent? So I said, let's take off the labels, and why don't we just be the parent that our kids need us to be, to connect with them, to see them, to hear them. And, it doesn't matter what it's called. It's called being a parent. It's called connecting with your child. And my article talks about, I have 6 kids, and one of my children really needed me to hover. Like, they needed me to guide them. They needed me to check in on, and they needed me to know everything that was going on in their lives, because they needed that guidance. And then I
Yeah.
have other children that need their space, and they need to feel, and they need to have that opportunity to feel, and then come back and really talk to me about it, to connect with it. So, I don't have to label it. I just need to show up for them. I need to be present with my child, and each child has their own need.
Yes.
And who do I need to be? So if I am that parent that learns different techniques, knowing how to guide them, then I am being the best version of myself as a mom to them. The only title I want is the title of mom, or mommy, or Mimi, or mother.
Yeah. Yeah, I fully agree. It's conscious parenting is much more than strategies. It's to me it's a lifestyle, and it's very important. I have 3 kids, so not that many as you, but I aim to meet them where they are, and actually
Mhm.
they are my teachers. They
Uh,
are teaching me to become an all-rounded person, a
right.
well-rounded person, right? Because each kid is different. So what you said, meet them where they are.
You have to. And it's a beautiful thing. And like I was saying, like, we're going into another era. I feel like we have so many eras in one year. You know, like, now our parents are leaving. Like, I'm getting so many calls about, I think my child has anxiety. I think so. I wrote an article last night about, I think my child has anxiety, because is it anxiety? Is it a behavior? Is it a behavior to get you to stay with them? Or is it really that feeling of nervousness and they don't know how to connect with that? Because anxiety comes from the fear of the unknown, the uncertainty in their life, some shifts, some changes. And could it be anxiety all of a sudden? Absolutely. Like, life is shifting. And if you have these children that need that steadiness and that security in them, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, mom and dad are home. That's kind of weird. And then they start to look at it and like, oh, I like this. Oh, now mom and dad are leaving now. What? Now I got to go to a babysitter now, or school's out,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to go back. I mean, there's so many shifts going on. So for me, it's like, how could we show up now for our children? What do they need? And what do we need as a mom? I mean, we put on so many hats, especially as entrepreneur moms, right? Like, we're running a household. We're trying to be that wife for our husband. We're trying to be that mom for the kids. And, I feel like moms are forgetting about them. Like, where's that
Yes.
self-care coming in?
Yeah. That's very important. That's part of being seen. And so, and to me, coming back to parenting, when you have more children, you might say, when I grew up, my parents came from a sense of, or the fashion was, we treat each other the same. But actually, if we go deeper, we cannot treat everybody the same, because
Mhm,
everybody has different needs.
mhm,
And everybody has a different way of being into the world. I have extroverts, I have introverts. I'm sure as well. I have kids that need their me time and alone time much more, and then the other they need get energy from interacting with others. So how is your take on this? What's your
So
take on this?
I think I agree with you, and I believe that like our kids so let's first talk about what a behavior is. Okay. A behavior is anything that we do, adult kids, it doesn't matter, even animals, to meet a need, you know? So when we look at the different personalities, what I'm noticing is that our children, and like I have six, pick up through their filters on how do we meet our needs, and they start mimicking it. So that is why, like, oh, that child's just like my husband. Oh, that child's just like me, because they've realized, like, in order to get my needs met, I need for mommy to meet my needs, I need to be like mommy. And so direct, security, need the details. Where my other son is like his dad, like, I don't need the details. Like, I'm just going to get that done. And yeah, if it gets done, it gets done, but we're all going to get along. So, they mimic it and they continue to mimic it until they get older and they have more experiences and different role models. And they realize, like, wow, I actually can get this met if I take my time, I make lists, and then they develop their own personalities. And it's so beautiful to understand this because now when you understand at such a deeper level, you know how to communicate with your child. You realize what their fears are. So if I am talking to my child who fears rejection, I'm definitely not going to say, well, if you don't do that, you're not coming with us. That would kill her because her fear is rejection. But if I did say to her, look, I know you want to go with us. So what do we need to do? Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. We need to get this done. So why don't we do it so we can all go together? Oh my gosh, she's like on it, right? Because her
yeah,
need to be with us
yeah.
is pulling her to get it done. So it's not shaming her, it's not blaming her, and it's definitely not going to her fear. So that's why it's so important to know our kids' personalities to be able to communicate with them.
Yeah. And because you talk about this is actually the mirror neurons, right? We are monkeys. We just copy behavior. And so coming back to many people have these perfectionist tendencies. Everything needs to be perfect.
Mm,
And then you were talking about anxiety. This can project a lot of
yeah.
things on the children. So why is that so important for us as parents um, to work our shit actually?
Yeah, so they wouldn't give it to them, right?
So we don't give it to them, we don't pass them, and then we help our children become well-rounded, balanced individuals of the society of tomorrow.
Right. So my belief is that instead of pushing our children to our standard, we help them create their standard. And we do that by showing up for them and then encouraging them. So when they do something and it's not to your standard, right? Like, let's just take example, cleaning the table. It's to tell them what your standard is to tell them what they did wrong. To help them raise their standard is to see what they did right and then ask them a question like, wow, you did so good. The table looks amazing. If you were going to make it better, what would that look like? A, they might say, I don't know. Can you show me? Or B, they might say, oh, you know what? I can get the edges a little bit better. I'm like, perfect. That's amazing. I love it. And so it's because my perfect is not your perfect.
Yes, exactly.
I don't like that word. Like I say perfect as a praise, right? Like you got it right. You've done well.
Perfect. The perfect I'm putting as a flaw actually because it creates a lot of anxiety in the society.
But when you use it, like if something's broken and the kid's like, I couldn't fix it. Perfect. Like relabel what perfect means. It's perfect that it's broken. It's perfect you can't fix it. Why? Because now we have an opportunity to either learn together or figure out a different solution. Right.
Yes,
So it's like, and this brings me to a beautiful topic is what are the words that we're teaching our children that have no value?
yes,
One of the articles I wrote, like sorry. We're always saying sorry. We're always saying sorry. So a kid will hit their sister and then they'll go to their room and they'll be like, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, you can come out of your room. Or they don't do what they need to do. And you say, okay, well, you're not going to have screen time. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, now you have screen time. We're, we're devaluing these words,
Yeah.
and when you talk about that conscious parenting, it's, you know, um, I think all parenting is conscious because we're thinking about it. We're thinking about how we connect, right? So if that is the truth, then sorry is I am sorry. I take accountability for what I did and I will learn from it and I will grow from it and I won't do it again. But if you say sorry, you hit your sister and you got your TV privileges back, and then 2 minutes later you go and hit her again, are you really sorry? So what I have taught my whole family, I'm doing with my husband too, I am aware. I am aware. We're changing the brain. We're saying, if you hit your sister, it's not, I'm sorry. I am aware I hit her. I am aware why. And what are you learning from it? And I'm going to tell you, Catalina, this has shifted our whole family because
How?
because now when they are saying, I'm aware, I'm aware, I'm aware, guess what? That behavior is disintegrating because they're aware of what their behavior is and what happened. And now they can say, I'm sorry, because it's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
We've shifted their mindset because isn't that really what you're saying? I'm sorry, let me have my TV privileges back. I mean, no, you're not sorry. You're not aware of why it was taken away in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and my husband's even doing it. He's because it would be like something silly, like taking out to the trash, right? Like he takes out the trash, and I'm like, the trash is coming. He's like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and nothing shifted. Now all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's like, I'm aware, I'm aware. Guess what? The trash is getting taken out every Tuesday now.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's
Fantastic.
shifting, right? Because we're creating that awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. You work a lot with families um, all over the world. And you might know how important is the relationship between mother and father, because I see also with my clients that guilty as charged, if I have a fight with somebody in the presence of my child, I'm talking if one person has a fight, a couple in front of their child, then the children see two adults fighting with each other, or having a difference of opinion. The way the interaction goes has a major influence because they mirror in the relationship with their siblings. How do you deal with this, and what do you advise families to do?
So I'm guilty too. I feel like we're all imperfect parents trying to be a better parent, right? And so I don't, as much as I want to see my children see me and my husband loving on each other, I'm okay with them seeing us disagree also. And with that, I get to give them the understanding. I get to give them sometimes people have different opinions, and I relate it back to when her and her brother had that different opinion. I'm like, but you still love them, and I still love daddy. And guess what? This is what me and daddy learned from that.
Yeah.
And so they get to see the disconnect and they're learning conflict resolution. If we
Yes.
hide it from our kids, how will they ever understand that just because you love each other doesn't mean that you disconnect? And how do you get connection back?
Yeah.
And they see us and we don't hide it. We don't hide it from them. Now,
Exactly.
there are times, I'm going to be honest, we probably should have not done things in front of the kids. And to go back to your child and say, look, that was uncalled for. I raised my voice. I know it felt yucky. It felt yucky for mommy. And I want to help you understand the why behind it. This is giving them, I mean, it's amazing.
It's a
What
deeper
it
conversation in any
is.
sense.
And
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, my children were just tested in December and January by a psychologist because I have dyslexia and ADHD. That psychologist said, I have never in my life, and she's been a psychologist for years, never in my life have I ever met two 7-year-olds that are so emotionally in tune with themselves. She's like, never. And I explained to her that I'm a parenting coach, and I don't claim that my kids are the greatest because they're children. and I'm learning from them. That's why honestly, it makes me a better parent coach to have these children,
Of
right?
course.
Because I
Of
learned.
course.
And I told her and I explained to her what I do. She goes, "Can I write that stuff down? Because I really like to share this with my parents." And I'm like, "Sure." And I
Yes.
said, if we stop the open conversation, then we're teaching our kids not to be open with us. One thing my children know, they have a
Totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah.
safe space to share. No
Yeah.
judgment.
Yes. Totally agree. Let's talk about handling mistakes. How do we teach children, teenagers, all ages, to handle mistakes?
Don't
What's your
wrong
view
them.
on this?
I don't wrong them for their mistakes. Stop labeling bad good. That was a bad choice. Like, why did you do that? That should not have happened.
And punish them.
Right. Ask them what happened. We have choices. I mean, Catalina, let's be honest. We're as adults, how much of our past can we look back and be like, that was the worst mistake? And that worst mistake I made that I had really severe consequences ended up being the best decision in my life now. Right?
Absolutely.
It's either an
Absolutely.
example or some warning. And some of the warnings that I have led me to who I am today. So who am I to take that path away from my child? So let's just be real. I have a child that's been arrested, and I didn't go bail him out of jail. I did not.
When
And
was that? Years ago, right?
yeah,
Years ago.
it was years ago. And when I saw him after he got out of jail, I hope it's okay to talk about this conversation because
Oh, yeah,
it's,
absolutely. This
it's,
is
it's right.
real, right?
Right. So he got out of the jail, and he had an expectation of who I used to be. And he thought I was going to just reprimand him and criticize. Now, remember, he's a man at this point, right? He's 22 years old, or 21 years old at the time. He's now 26. And he thought I was going to come after him. Like I would have. I mean, the old me would have. I would have been like, who are you? I raised you better. Do you know what this means? Da, da, da. Instead, I said, tell me what you learned. Tell me what you learned. And tell me what you need for me to support you. And he's like, what? I'm like, tell me what you learned.
Breaking a pattern, right?
I'm like, tell me what you learned. And what do you need for me to support you? And I said, the only stipulation I have is financially, I'm not going to give you the money because that's going to be part of your growth. You're going to have to figure that out. But what I will do is I will help you get an attorney. And if I need to go to court with you, I will, because I love you and you're going to grow from this. And I'm going to tell
Yes.
you, my son stopped drinking. So, I mean, it took him a while and he made other mistakes. But that's if it stopped him from drinking, because we have a whole line of alcoholics on his dad's side and on my side. So it's innate. So if those couple mistakes he's made along his journey has made him the man he is today, and he's an
Yes.
amazing man. He has a beautiful daughter, who's my granddaughter. He has a beautiful fiance. They own a house. She's a stay-home mom, so he takes care of them. He's a welder. He has a profession. He's got certified. Like, what a beautiful journey he's been on. And all I can think about is if I was that old parent to reprimand him and criticize, because men can't do that, and I was the one who was the influence of his life, raising him as a single mom, what would that have done? How would that have changed the whole trajectory of the man he is today?
So what was the shift for you?
The shift was understanding that when we blame and shame our kids, all we're doing is taking away their knowing that they're enough.
Yes.
And to say that they make mistakes is to say and to blame them. It's all about me then. And so the
And
biggest
my standards
right. And the biggest
and my
shift I
project.
made, is that my children are not my measuring tool of the type of parent I am, whether I'm good or I'm bad. You see, even as a mom, I've made all the mistakes. I'm so imperfect, and I'm going to continue making mistakes because it makes me a better person. And regardless of where my children are, what they're doing, that's their journey. That's their gift. I did the best that I could with what I knew, and I continue to grow and I continue to guide, but they're not mine. I don't own my children. They were a gift that God gave me to guide. God chose me to guide them for whatever reason. He chose me,
And they
but
to guide you.
I was just going to say, and God chose them to
Yeah.
guide me.
Yeah.
When we take off that hat of I'm the parent, I got to do it, I'm going to tell you. And we start realizing, like, okay, you're my teacher, I'm your student. What do you want to teach me today?
Yeah. So it's
That's
more like a
relationship.
relationship, a with relationship versus a versus
Right.
relationships. So we are in this together.
We
We are in
are.
this together.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the importance of presence with the
Yeah.
children
That's in my
and
cup, right? Be present.
be present. Here you go. Let's talk about this.
So yes, let's do. And I'm going to tell you, I just wrote a book. It's coming out this week or next week, and it's called uh, what is it called? um, Teach your child that they're enough, the 3 proven steps to raising your child with self-esteem. And be present is my second step, actually. And what that looks like is put the phone down, put the computer down, and just connect with them. And people say, well, I watch TV with them. You know what? As long as you don't have your phone in your hand or your computer on and you're watching that with them and you're laughing with them and you're
Mhm.
crying with them, that's presence. The presence of that energy. And can I say it even works with relationships?
Absolutely.
This was a epiphany that I just had a week ago. My husband and I were having challenges, and all of a sudden I realized, like, why does he not follow through? I don't know how many moms out there get so frustrated that your husband's like, oh, I'm going to, and then going to never comes. 9 months later, my shower's still not done, right? This true story. It really just happened 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, why? Like, it's so frustrating. Like, I can't do this. Like, I know you moms out there feel sometimes like I just can't do this anymore. I can't take anymore. And then I realize every time I find something he hasn't done, the computer gets shut, the phone gets away. It doesn't matter who's calling me. I'm fully present to criticize and complain about what he's not
And
doing.
narrow focusing
I
your
am.
attention on that.
And
Yeah.
I was like, holy goodness. I said, this is what it is. My husband is a quality time person. Okay. I'm an access service person. So access service, not getting it done, was not my love language. So I was feeling not seen and not heard and
So we are
appreciated.
talking about the 5 love
Five love
languages
languages.
because
Sorry about that.
yes.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no, it's okay.
And then his is quality time and touch. So his love language was not getting seen or heard. So here we are, 2 people who fully love each other, fully engaged, soulmates that were not connecting because I was not present. I was so focused on, I have to do this. My clients need me and stuff. And our kids feel the same way. It's like, so your clients are worth it, but I'm not. So how are we building that worth in them? And I said to my husband, I said, oh my gosh, you do this because that's the only quality time you get. He's like, I do. And the next morning he came to me. He's like, I thought about that last night. He's like, you're right. He's like, because when you have to complain about something I didn't do, you shut the computer down. You're fully present with me. He's like, look, we've already been in this conversation for 20 minutes. He's like, that's 20 minutes I got this morning that I never get from you. And I'm like, so I asked him, I said, tell me what you need. Tell me what kind of type of quality time it looks like to you, not by my standard, by
Absolutely.
his. I said, do you need me in the morning before I start to work? Should we get up earlier and just have that time together? Do you need me to get off with clients sooner in the evening? Like, what do you need? Do you need me when the kids go to bed? It's our time. Tell me what you need, right? Not what Veenu needs. And I'm going to tell you, my shower's done, the chicken coop's rebuilt, the patio's cleaned up.
Yeah. So for people who don't know the 5 languages of love, so we have different ways of showing and receiving love, and everybody is different, of course. So that these are acts of service, words
Quality
of
time
appreciation, quality time,
and touch
touch,
and gift.
physical touch, and gifts.
Gifts, right.
And gifts doesn't mean a Porsche or a Ferrari.
No.
Can come in many many shapes and forms. And it's good to know. And actually, you can take these questionnaires on internet and find out what is your own preferred love language, and what are your kids' love
Love
language, and
language.
what is your husband or your partner love language, and start using this and introducing this into your
And it really, really helps with
How's
that presence, right? And the other
yeah.
thing is we also figured out like, so for those, the DISC is a personality style. You can go on the internet, you can take it. I'm certified in it. So when we did our discs, but we also did our hidden motivators. So there's like it's called a 4D. There's 4 different assessments. His motivator, like what we call our values, what is it that drives us? What drives our decisions in life? His was inner awareness and spirituality. So he's not attached to material things. He's not attached to the security of the future. He's just being present with what's going on. And do I have time to meditate? And let me go get present. Let me go walk in the grass barefoot. Me, my hidden motivator, which was actually a blind spot to me, was economics and success, which means that I will sacrifice time with my loved ones in order to secure my future with success.
And to take care of them as
I'm like,
well.
holy cow, that is.
Mhm.
And it's funny because, we do our values every year, right? And we look at the definitions. I've never had success on my values. And yet that has probably been, and I look back through my whole trajectory, like even before I was into personal development, and it's always been success. And I did not know that. And what's beautiful is it now that I'm aware of what that hidden motivator is inside of me that creates my disc, I now have an opportunity to see the strengths of it and the weaknesses of it. And then
Right.
his is
You
a
have
well.
you have more choice.
It does, girl. And it brings all that presence to us, right? And
Yeah.
so my husband and I are able to communicate better. I'm able to communicate better with my kids,
Yes.
But going back to presence, the first thing you need to do is ask them what they need.
Yes.
What does presence look like to them?
Yes. Yes. And how is this changing? Do you have the presence conversation also with the kids? And because you have also teenagers, maybe you don't have it with the 7 years old, but how do you deal with teenagers?
So I'm going to show you this thing I have on my phone. You see those alarms right there, right
Yeah,
there?
I see
Okay.
them.
So we were at the store shopping. I had all 4 of my kids with me. And that's a feat in itself, moms. I'm sure you know that. And in the middle of the store at 10 a.m., my alarm goes off. And I'm like, stop. And I'm like, okay, how are we going to receive love? How are we going to give love? And they thought about it. We checked out. We got in the car. I'm like, okay, everybody, we're going to go around one by one. I want everybody to tell me in that moment when I stopped us, tell me how you received love and how you gave love. I started doing that. And now my kids will be like, when's the alarm going to go off? When's the alarm going to go off? And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I could be on a call right now and the alarm would go off. And they're like, the alarm went off. And they stop. And
Yeah.
now at dinner, that's our new thing is everybody has to go around and say, how do they give love and how they receive love? This is getting them present.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so
And this is, yeah, it's creativity because everybody's different. Find your own way.
and do this with teenagers, find out like even like one of the strategies I gave one of my families that I'm working with in a different country. I said, start asking your kids what their magic moment is for that day. Like we need to start conversations with our kids and it cannot just be, how was your day? Good.
And you get the short answer. How was
Right.
school?
Like,
Of
what is
course.
that magic moment? And help them
Yes.
understand what a magic moment is. Do you know what a magic moment is? Like
Or,
this is what my magic.
translate it for teenagers, maybe cool or whatever it is for them, right?
Right. Like what lit you up today? What's
Yeah.
one thing that lit you up today? We have a beautiful friend in common, Shay, and she's in London. And she's like, Veenu, what if you just would ask the universe every morning, what surprises and delights the universe is going
Absolutely.
to offer you today? And I'm like,
Absolutely.
oh my God. So that's one, because
Yes.
my morning routine is questions, right? It's quality questions to lead me in the right direction every morning. And I do my gratitude. So now that's one of my things. And like so many
Yeah.
beautiful surprises and delights are
Oh,
popping
yeah.
up
I
every
am
day.
very open to magic, my darling. I am very open to magic and beauty and excellence.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, thank you so much again, Vino. Great, great shares and a great wisdom. Thank you so much. I hope that you'll come back and we'll find important topics in in helping people make this family dynamics and family experiences sacred and beautiful. Because we are learning a lot from being parents, and I think it's a great journey. I think it's the best thing in my life being a mother. I don't know what's for you, although we have successful businesses, and so I think that I was chosen to be a mother, and I think I take is the most sacred journey I walk.
I think so too. And you know what's beautiful for me is I have every title of mom.
I know
I
this is so
mean,
cool.
I'm a
Yes, tell
multi-generational
me.
mom. I have adult kids. So, and that's the interesting thing about being a parent coach is I know the outcome. Like
Yeah.
what I teach now is because I saw what I was doing before and I saw the
Yes.
outcome of that.
Yes. And
And
you
so
learn. You
it's
learn
good.
from it.
But being a step parent, being a mom of multiples, being a single mom, being a married mom, being a working mom, being a stay-home mom, like there's not a mom that can call me that I don't understand what she's going through in that
Yes,
moment,
absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
And so,
So
you know,
what's the name? Is Vino Inspires, right?
yes, Veenu
VinoInspires.com.
Inspires.
Yeah.
If you know any of your listeners want to just get on a call, they want to know about their kids' disc, they want to know about their disc, their personalities and stuff. Like I could get on a quick
And
chat
the
with them.
dynamics for this.
The
Yes, absolutely.
dynamics, the free, it's a free call. You know, they can go to my site and just book a free call with me. If they need some strategies on their relationship to get it better, so they get the parenting on the same page, you know, or they want to connect with their kids, please reach out to me. Like I would love to. I'm on LinkedIn. I write a lot of articles on LinkedIn about children and anxiety. Some of the stuff that we talked about today, I write articles all the time on that, on Instagram. So
Beautiful.
please connect. I would love to support you.
Awesome. So thank you again for a beautiful conversation, useful, entertaining, and inspiring for me, and I hope also for those that will watch it at a later time as well. Um, Vino, we're gonna close this. We gonna let go of our experience together to go forward to our lives.
Love it.
And I would like to do it in the same way we've started it by looking
Yes.
at each other because that's especially for mothers, women, we need to be seen. So I see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then we let go of this, and I take forward into my heart your teachings and your wisdom and your beautiful energy. Thank you so much,
Thank
Vino.
you.
And I wish you a wonderful day. And I hope that after holidays, we'll meet again. I
Yes.
will have a day of the week where I will dedicate it to parenting because that's very important, parenting and family. So I'm looking forward to reconnecting with you
Yes.
and
I would love to.
going deeper into parenting and conscious parenting and family. Hello, Sev. Yes,
Hi,
good
Seb.
to see you.
Oh,
Good to see
beautiful
you.
Seb.
So, thank you so much and all the best and see you next time. Have
Okay.
everybody have a wonderful day. By the way, before, what is really something nice about the place you live in
In North Carolina,
North Carolina? One thing, and we
what's
finish
beautiful
with
about
this.
North Carolina?
Something, one thing.
I live by the beach and it's beautiful and the mountains are beautiful. It's the environment's
So
beautiful.
you have both the
The,
sea, the ocean, and the
the mountains.
which and the mountains,
Yeah, we
the
have the
highs
Atlas
and the lows.
Mountains.
It's also a nice metaphor for parenting, the highs and the lows, and we
Oh
have
my gosh.
everything
Yes,
together.
girl. I didn't even think
Awesome.
about that. Thank you.
And now, because we cannot stop talking, we close this and we go forward to our life. Thanks a lot. All the best. Everybody have a wonderful day.